First item on the agenda, approval of the minutes, regular meeting, February 19th. Second. Been moved and seconded. Discussion? Any corrections?
Call for the question.
The question's been called for. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous? Okay, next one, approval of the minutes, special council meeting, February 13th.
Take it.
Move to approve. Second.
Been moved and seconded, discussion.
Call for the question.
Questions called for. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, unanimous. Petitions, communications. We have Richard Turner. He wants to talk about lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender possible ordinance. If you're ready, sir,
I am.
please come to the table.
State your name and address, please.
My name is Richard Turner, 335 South Dakota Street, Dillon. I want to thank the council for allowing me a few minutes on the agenda to address an issue that I think is incredibly important. So I'll just read the statement that you have before you. Montana and federal law currently disallows discrimination on the basis of several criteria, including age, marital status, national origin, physical or mental disability, race or color, religion or creed, gender, and political belief or ideas. These laws make it unlawful to discriminate in employment, housing, education, public accommodations, state and local government services and employment, credit, and insurance. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender LGBT residents in Montana, however, face legal challenges not experienced by heterosexual residents. Following the decriminalization of the so-called sodomy law in 2013, same-sex activity is now legal in Montana. Despite this, discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation remains legal. In Montana, it's currently legal for a private employer to refuse employment to or terminate an LGBT person because of his or her sexual orientation. It's legal for a business to deny him or her a seat at a restaurant or a room in a motel. It's legal for a landlord to refuse to rent a house or apartment to an LGBT person. And if a landlord discovered that his tenant isn't straight, he can legally evict him or her. Several Montana cities have passed local anti-discrimination ordinances to protect their LGBT residents against these unconscionable cruelties. In Helena and Missoula, it's already unlawful to discriminate against LGBT people in housing or employment. Butte and Bozeman are on the verge of passing similar ordinances. I'm here tonight to ask the Dillon City Council to begin the process of drafting an ordinance to protect LGBT people in our city against the discriminatory actions of private employers, businesses, and landlords. Drafting such an ordinance shouldn't be too difficult since other cities' ordinances are available to use as models. It's time for us, whatever our private feelings about other than heterosexual behavior may be, to recognize that LGBT people are entitled to feel every bit as safe and at home in our community as heterosexuals are. Thank you.
Any questions? Well, if you don't mind, I would like to send that to judicial. Would that be acceptable? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next in the packet is a thank you letter that Mr. Chief Trapp wrote to the Bicentennial Farms for their donation. We appreciate it, the Bicentennial. Thank you.
Just a little side note, I'd like to show what the Bicentennial purchased for the department. Those are Philips AEDs, automatic external defibrillators. They purchased 3 of those for the department so that we could have them in each one of our regular patrol vehicles. And we thank them greatly for their support, not only for this time, but the last time they purchased vests for us. They helped get our taser program off and running, and now the AEDs. I'd like to publicly thank the Bicentennial Board.
And I would too. Yep. Thank you. Next item is Ed Mooney, request for the Dillon cleanup day. You would come up maybe?
Yeah, I'm kind of gimpy here, and this is kind of motivated on by some preliminary discussions with some of the city people, and I think it'd be a good idea for the city to recognize Cleanup Day. Sarah Maslin is here from Terra Verde, and part of the motivation is to try to coordinate the Cleanup Day with their Earth Day Week festival, and gain some support from the city in recognition. So with that, I'll let her give you a brief introduction. Yeah.
All right, yeah, my name is Sarah Maslin. I am the president of the Terra Verde Club over at Western, which is the technically the environmental science department student organization. We do a lot of outdoor rec and education, as well as community service. Something that we've been doing for the past almost 6 years now is our Earth Day Festival. And it's usually in conjunction in and around Earth Day. And this started out just as a basic town cleanup, as a way to really beautify our city again and clean up the trash around the highway, the river, and downtown. And so we're going to continue this tradition this year. And Ed has come up to me as well about making a more official day and broadcasting this message through the city a little more. I will go say that we haven't finalized a lot of the details quite yet. It's still 2 months away. But if we could get community support and council support, we'd really appreciate it and help spreading the message, as well as having that official day, which is our festival will be April 26th, which is a Saturday. So if that could be in conjunction with our festivities, I think that would really help support our message.
This kind of started with a conversation between Ed Moody and I, and something that I had indicated for the last couple of years I wanted to get started. JS has participated to some degree with the group. We kind of felt like it might be a good thing to get it to a committee this year, kind of get some coordination going and some ideas of how we could have the city participate a little more.
Might it be appropriate to refer to the street and alley committee?
Well, or health and welfare.
Health and welfare, okay.
You know.
Since the street's got a bunch of stuff on their list, would you mind having it go to health welfare? Okay?
I don't know who chair is it.
Okay.
The point here, who's the chairperson of that?
Bill.
Bill Schaefer.
Bill, maybe you could get her phone number and contacts, or you can contact her, what is it?
Sure, yeah. My phone number would be 541 490 2781.
And it has lots of good ideas too, so you'd like to know who it is.
Yeah, and then as we finalize other details, I mean, I'll be in contact with any of you folks. Sarah. And then email, if that would be sarah.maslin@gmail, and that's SARA.MASLEN.
In fact, I have it, Bill.
There we go.
Just take this.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next in the packet, DNRC Arbor Day grant. Mr. Turner?
We received, in your packet here, there's a email here from DNRC from Lori. And the city of Dillon tree board was granted the $750 for Arbor Day. I guess stay tuned as far as more information on Arbor Day from the tree board. We do an art project with the, this year it's gonna be with the middle school kids. And then we also do some tree planting with, I think, the 4th graders this year. So more to follow on that, but I just wanted to bring this forward that we got the $750. Any questions, comments?
Thank you. That'll help. Okay, mayor's report. First item is appoint probationary firefighter Lynn Thomas Reynolds. There. Is she here?
No, he
Can you see him?
couldn't make it tonight.
Okay.
But just through the process, we go through the hiring process and put on probationary to bring it to the city council and to the district trustees for approval and appointment.
I would move that we appoint Lynn Thomas Reynolds to the department.
Moved and second, discussion.
Call for the question.
Question's been called for. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Next one on the agenda is appoint Bill Schaefer to the 911 board.
I would move that Bill Schaefer be appointed to the 911 board.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and second, discussion.
Call for question.
Question's been called for. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous. The next item, I'm pulling off the agenda. I wanted the person to be here, as it was requested last time, and I found out, as I put it on here, and I've been trying to get a hold of him after that, and it sounds like he's on vacation with his wife. So I pulled it off, because I wanted everybody here to meet him first. So that's off the agenda. The next one. The next one is to create an ad hoc committee to investigate the flood zone reclassification. And what I was going to do there is appoint Tom Strow as chair. Talked to him already. And also Mr. Schaefer's voiced that he would like to be on it also. I'm looking to have like, this is one that the mayor sets up, the ad hoc kind of committee board, however you want to look at it. So we got 2, but I would like to have 5, 7 people to look into, looking at that whole thing. Now, all they're going to do is report to the council on whatever, they find. They have no decision making. It's still in the council, okay? But they're going to go out and do some fact finding and all that to come and present. So if anybody, if the paper would do, sorry, Bob.
I'd like to point Richard Nelson, not Richard Nelson, Richard Miller.
If he wants to sit on it, he's
You
welcome.
can't appoint me, Bottom, but I'll volunteer. I'll volunteer.
I'd also like to have the paper, okay, there's 3, but I'd like to have the paper also put out Tom's phone number, 683-2155, and he'd be willing to take, if they'd put it in the paper saying that they're looking for members to serve on that board. A few more. We have 3 now. Just call Tom, that's Tom's phone number. I have no problem with putting on. I don't really want to have 50, 60 people. That's way too many. I'm looking 5, 7, 9 in that area to help to do. So
Probably one more before.
3.
Or 3.
Well, it could be some four, usually three. Ward 3 is where they're wanting to reclassify. The zoning is in Ward 3. That's pretty much on the side of tracks. Yeah, the west side. Okay, any questions? We'll go on to the next. Okay, the next one in front of you is a resolution, just to give a little information for you. It's for a study commission. And it's in the Constitution of Montana. Every 10 years, the local governments, that's the city and the county, both have to pass a resolution to put it on the ballot. This will be on the primary ballot. And the people will make a decision, do they want to investigate the type of government, what the government does, that kind of thing. So, but first thing they do at the primary is vote if they want to take some money and set up a study commission. If the people vote at the primary election to make so, then it goes to the general election that's coming up in November. People, how many number that you guys decide on, the council here, that number will have to apply for that study commission and get elected. And then they serve for about 2 years. It will go until the next general election, the presidential election. At that time, or actually hopefully before that time, there's a deadline there that they have to put out a final report. And in that final report, after investigating, talking to the public, and having a bunch of meetings and all that, they'll put out a final report stating what they think would be the best way to have Dillon come out, if there is a change. And they'll put that to the people, and the people then will vote to either do that or do nothing. So, but by the Constitution, we have to pass a resolution. Right now, pretty much, the only things I need, like a motion or from you guys, is number one, we have to decide on how many members. I just put 5, but you'll see I did some calculations in here on for how much for 3. It's up to you guys. Usually, it's got to be an odd number. You don't want to have it too big, is what they're saying. So probably not 9. That's kind of rough.
What they have the last time? Did they have 5?
3.
If I could, David, I think there was some indication somewhere that we thought maybe 5, but when I prepared the draft of the proposed resolution, I think we settled on 3. But it's up to you. It should be an odd number.
Right, it should be an odd, so there's no tie, but.
Well, I was just thinking of the workload and everything, you know, spread over 3 people. I don't know. I guess I would like a little more people involved in it myself, but, you know, I'll go with whatever anybody wants.
I think 5 is a good number.
I would agree with that.
I need a motion.
I would move to approve the resolution.
4 or 5.
With 5.
All right. We need some other thing too. I need, in the resolution, we gotta figure out how much money we wanna set out. My calculation was for 3.
So, I would think it would be, you did 3 members, and you came up with 2.9 mils or 2.09,
Yeah, about 2 mils.
so,
And the thing with the mills, we're not, if you don't mind me interrupting you, on the mills or money, it's, you can choose either way, set aside a certain amount of money or set aside a certain number of mills. And on that, you don't really want to go low, but you don't want to go really high either. Although whatever's left will actually go into the general fund when it's all done. So, and this is on top of the mills actually taken.
Mr. Would it be well to refer this to the finance committee so they can investigate and give us more solid figures rather than us shoot from the hip here tonight?
If you want, we have to rush this because we gotta have it by next meeting. But if they will rush it through, I have no problem if you want to do that.
If I could speak to the time element, Mr. Trellison, this resolution has to be finalized, and I believe to the Beaverhead county clerk on March 10th. So I think the last regular meeting, I think before then would be March 5th, if I was
Right.
right. So there's certainly no problem in doing it that way. We might have to hold a special meeting to do it. It does have to be finalized. But
So could you raise the mail the second year if you have to?
Not sure about
that
that.
I don't know.
I'm not
prepared to
sure.
answer that.
They're talking that you do it right now. This is when you do it.
And
that they pass-
if we put in for 2 mills now, and come the next budget session, we need a 3rd mill, can we put it in?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think it's gotta be, I mean, this is just if it passes at the primary, then we have to, that's gotta clear the primary first. That's why
I
the urgency.
understand.
You tell it the primary on the ballot, if you read there, you're saying that you're gonna take only this much, not to exceed, and that's what we have to put down, is we're not exceeding this amount, and then we can't go back later, I don't think. But that's my opinion. Mr. Knight?
If we do approve it, whatever mills we put on, will those mills come off the books after the project is done?
Yes. Once the study commission's all done, whatever's left goes into the general fund.
So we wouldn't continue taking out?
Oh, no, it's a one-time take. The mills is a one-time take if the people decide to pass or to have a study commission look into the style of government they want.
I would move to refer this to the finance committee for the report by next meeting.
Motion already in
What
in second.
You want to withdraw?
Yeah, I'll withdraw my motion.
And I think, Mr. Cottam, you,
Did you second
was
that?
it Dick?
I had seconded,
Okay,
but,
would you-
but I mean, I had a question,
Okay?
a comment. You know, if this has to be done by March 9th, I mean, I think getting it to the finance committee and getting it back to the council is gonna be pushing it. And I mean, I would recommend we pass the resolution tonight. And I mean, the mayor has done some preliminary calculations based on 3 at 2 mills. If we add 2 more people and add 1 more mill, you know, I think the numbers will come out. And as the mayor said, it's a not to exceed, correct?
In fact, I would even recommend 4 mills if you're going 5 members. You have a little extra just in case.
Yeah, it's gonna go back to the general fund if there's anything left
Correct.
over, right?
Right.
So,
You know, but I think due to the time constraints, we should act on
I
this.
withdraw my motion, I guess.
so, okay, I make a motion that we have a committee of 5 total members with 4 mills.
Okay, been moved
Second?
and seconded. Discussion? Any more discussion?
Call for the question.
Question's been called for. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous. Okay, next thing in the agenda is the citizens' request. More for just your perusal or questions. Okay. Okay, moving on. Reports of officers and boards. City Attorney, Mr. Bowman.
Yeah. Well, some of you know I'm in the middle of transition. I finally got the computer and the internet hooked up upstairs, and I think there might be a phone in the offing that seems to be coming together. On that note, I would greatly appreciate a visit by each of the council members at some point, just so that I can sit down face to face and get to know you all. I think that matters a great deal in any type of working relationship. Or if you want to just go to lunch or something like that, we can do it that way too. As far as generating a report, I'm working on that. I know that the previous city attorney, my predecessor, Mr. Gilbert, liked to do a fairly detailed hourly report. I've got to kind of figure out how I'd like to present that. I know Dave was very particular about certain things, not being placed on the report. I don't know that I want to necessarily go down that road, but let me figure that out. As far as civil cases this week, I have had some conversations with Mr. Gilbert with regard to the 4 cases that have been assigned by you all as a city council to him. He has advised me that I guess I should say that I did speak to the attorney that the city had hired, Ms. Prizeau, on the Jones personnel matter. She advised that she thought that we would be getting a decision from the arbitrator late this week. I haven't seen anything yet, so I have no more to report on that. Other than that, that's about it, I guess.
Well, let me tell you where we put him, where his office is. Upstairs, you go where the judge or the judge's clerk is. You go around, go up the stairs, and he's in the office that's on the side, that's carpeted.
Still fire office.
Well, that's what it was, the old fire hall office. But he really liked it up there because it's more, he's worried about confidentiality, nobody really listening in on things that they shouldn't. And he loved it up there. Actually, I kind of like it too.
It's a little cavernous, but I think for the interim it will work okay.
So if you want to come see him, then that's where his office is. Okay? Okay, next item.
Lunch up there?
Sorry, go ahead.
You got lunch up there too?
I can do that. There is a kitchen up there. I don't know if the electric range is operational or not. I haven't tried it, but it could be done. There could be a potluck up there. Potluck with the city attorney. Yeah, there we go.
Next item, planning board. Any report?
No report.
And zoning?
No report.
Director of operations?
No report at this time.
Thank you. Police chief, Paul Kraft.
For your approval, I would respectfully submit the officer's activity report for January 2014.
We accept.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion. Questions been called. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Passed, unanimous. Any other?
Nothing further at this time.
Okay, move on to the next item. Is, well, Mr. Lader's not here, but Mike McGinley, fire chief.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, in your packet is the January 14 expenditures, and I would ask for your approval.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Discussion.
Question.
Questions been called for. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It's unanimous. Any other?
And second of all, I handed out just before the meeting started tonight the stats for the fire department for the calendar year 2013. Fire calls on there, we responded to 44 city fire calls, and we keep track of this from year in, year out, and that's down 21 from the previous year for city fires. So we had a really good year that, or our fire prevention program started to work well. But then the total hours of firefighting in the city of being that far down was 363, but that was up 9 hours as we keep the roster of the firemen to show up. Average turnout, we keep track of that, of how many people respond to every call on an average. Something else that the Dillon Fire Department's really proud of is that middle part is the response time from alarm until first on scene. any fire alarm in the city of Dillon, from the alarm until someone's on the scene is 2 minutes and 53 seconds. That's down once again 5 years from the, or 5 seconds from the previous year, which is a number that we're dang proud of. In the district, they're at 13 minutes and 9 seconds, considering that call is you know, we're at 1,800 square miles that we cover on the district side. The training for the fire department, you know, we've had 1,760 hours total for that. It averages out 55 hours per man that's on the department on training, which is really getting them well qualified. But what's amazing is the last little stat on the first page there is in 2013, fire losses in the city of Dillon was $650. That's not a typo on there. We had an amazing year on that part. There was a car that started on fire early in the year, and a $500 car probably should start on fire, because that was all the value on the thing was. And then late in the year, we ended up burning up one of Morstein's dumpsters for a total of $650. There was no structure fires, no real big damage in the city of Dillon for that year. I think that's what woke everybody up. Mentioned that right before the meeting, is knock on wood. It's a good year, we hope to keep it up there. That happened in the district the previous year, that we had an amazing year in the district in 2012 with just a little over $100,000 worth of damages. And as 2013 came on board at January 1, it took 15 minutes. And we were out on a fire call and lost $85,000 tractor. And it never got any better last year on the district side. And that, on the district side, we're over $500,000 of damages with 2 John Deere tractors, house in Argenta, 800 or 600 tons of hay just before Christmas. So it was amazing on that. And then on the second page is just the roster as of January, and this is before Mr. Lynn Reynolds is on here. It is a list of the firefighters on there, and on the very far side, on the right-hand side, is their years of service. And down below, it gives the stats of what we are. We've got 15 members of our 32 that have less than 5 years of experience. That is why we are so critical on the training and stuff, is to bringing these volunteers up to speed on that. 8 guys with 5 to 10 years. And the amazing stat is that the ones that are 15 years or older on there, there's only three of them, and one being me that's been on there for, I think, 26 years now. So we are a young department. I still think they're a gung-ho bunch. They love their training, and as it shows on the report, they're a dedicated bunch and do a heck of a job for the city of Dillon, and very proud of them. So if there's any questions, I'd answer them if I may.
Yeah, I just wondered, Mike, if you knew what the current insurance underwriting rate is, because what people need to know is with that good of a report, it reduces our insurance costs on our homeowners and business fire and so forth. Have you heard anything?
Yeah, that's the ISO rating.
Couldn't think of the
Is
ISO.
in the city of Dillon. I can't exactly remember exactly what that rating is, but it's good.
Yeah.
And part of it goes with one of the things you guys got to be careful about, I guess, on annexations anymore, is that it's critical on being 1 mile
Right.
from the fire hall, and you're pushing them limits on both ends of the city with the fire hall there.
We've had that discussion.
But response time is great. The ISO rating goes the same with the district people of the time, the response times, and the water availability when they're there. So if I could look that up for you and get that if you want.
Well, you know, it has to be good.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be the best it could be. So that is a bonus for our citizens.
And it is, like the other thing, is just a weird stat on that, is this is the In Montana, we're still the only volunteer fire department that has a university system in their town, so we do a lot of training on that, and appreciate the support we get from the people and governments that run us. Thank you.
Okay? Thank you. In your packet, let's see, Ms. Shea. So in your packets, the Dillon City Court. She's not here tonight.
Move to accept,
Been moved and seconded. Discussion. Questions been called for. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Okay, unanimous. The treasurer report, Mr. Cobb.
Just for the council's review and approval is the month of January's investment report and the bank and cash reconciliation report. We are in balance. Seek your approval.
Move to approve.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion.
Question.
Questions been called for. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, unanimous.
I
Anything else?
wanted to, two things. One, to bring to the council's attention and to the audience, that there has been some discussion about some of the money that had been raised through some of the debt issues was not in control of the city. I want the public to be aware that every dollar is accounted for on this report. We have audited financials as of the end of the year, and with the change in administration, we had a cash audit brought current, and there was no finding in that report. So any allegations that this money is not accounted for is inaccurate. I wanted to go on record for that effect. The other report that I shared with you is the actual copies that we received from the financial institutions that show the collateral that they have set aside to support the demand deposits that the city has in the institutions. The most active ones that we have are at Wells Fargo and Stockton's Bank. And you will note that the ones from Pioneer and Bank of Commerce are dated because there isn't that much activity. These assets have been set aside for the benefit of the city of Dillon. And so, the last time I gave this report, I didn't include this, but this gives you an idea of what we actually received. And by having it on the minutes, then our auditor will also know that we have gone through this process. So, asking for your approval of this report.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion.
Call for the question.
Question called for. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed. Any other? Thank you. Okay, library board.
No report.
That we're having a meeting next week, I think.
Yes,
Next Wednesday, if I remember right.
yes.
Maybe the next one he'll have a report, maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe the chair will.
Thank you. Thank you, Dick. Tree board.
If you've been down by the depot park lately, you've seen some tree trimming and tree removal activity down there. Gallatin Tree Care from Bozeman won that bid to do that. They should be finishing up down there today or tomorrow, and then they'll be moving up by the cemetery. Something that's also coming from the tree board is I think it's in April. I don't have the date with me tonight, but they're going to put on a pruning clinic, and more information to follow on that. There will be door prizes available at the pruning clinic. So it's really informative to go. Instead of being a tree butcher, you should be a tree pruner.
Janice,
Yeah.
I sure would encourage you to visit with the college and try to encourage them to attend that. Take a few trees on campus there that probably need some attention.
I will call him, I will call Dan and invite him to the tree pruning. Okay, thanks, Sweet.
Okay. Reports, standing committee, judiciary. Lynn,
In your packet are the minutes from the last judiciary minutes, meeting for your approval.
Move approval.
Second.
been moved and seconded. Discussion?
Call for the question.
Question's been called for. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay.
While we're on judiciary committee, I had a question, in the latest Montana Standard article, there was a statement in there that said that in regards to firing Mr. Gilbert, Clacton claims the ordinance is in violation of the city charter. And I think three of us have tried to find where the conflict is. Could you enlighten us as to what your interpretation is, or what you feel the conflict is between the two documents?
You want to do that tonight, or you want to come in my office and talk to me?
No, I think we need to talk about it here.
Okay.
We need
I
copy
don't
of
have a
those.
book to tell you the exact numbers. You can pass the book down. First, 1.00.025, Department Administration. Departments of the city shall have the following administrators: Police Department, who has the police chief as the department head. Fire Department, who has the fire chief, who is the department head. Library Director, who has, that's the department head. And Public Works, who has the Director of Operations as the department head. So those are what they would call department heads. Not city officers, but department heads. Now, under 2.04.050, administrative, the mayor may, under number 3, appoint and remove with the consent of the council all department heads. Now, we just went over, city attorney is not a department head. He is a city officer. And then it says after that, and appoint and remove all other employees in consultation with the appropriate department head. He directly reports to the mayor, the city attorney, so they are direct there. So that's, the mayor doesn't have to appoint or remove all other employees, doesn't have to ask the council. And that's why, that's the charter, that comes directly from the charter.
So how does that conflict with the ordinances?
What are you,
Could you pass that book back up here?
if you're talking about the city attorney, that says I have to get from the city attorney 2/3?
Yes. Also, it says that the city attorney has special status, I think is the title there.
Right. But it says it may be suspended or removed from office by the mayor with consent of 2/3 majority from the council.
Okay.
That is in conflict with the charter.
Not really. It's
And how can it not be?
it's my understanding that ordinances of the city can be less restrictive than state law. Okay. And the same would hold for, or I should say, more restrictive than state law. Okay. I'm sorry. And then on the same token, that ordinances can be more restrictive than the charter. And again, if you go to the ordinances, it requires 2/3 vote of the council, which you did not receive.
But the ordinance is in conflict with the charter. The charter is our constitution. Our constitution says, I don't need your approval. Now you're putting it on to me that I need your approval?
Oh, yes.
No, you can't do that. That's in violation of the charter.
That's your interpretation.
It's in violation of the charter. So, now you know. Here's your book back.
Do you have any comments?
Other than that, I think that it's probably a matter that's best resolved in a different forum, in a different place. I mean, it's clear that you two gentlemen have two different interpretations.
It's more than me.
Well-
Three of us researched this, we couldn't see the conflict.
I appreciate that, but again, I think the forum may not be the appropriate. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, judiciary. Are we done, Lynn?
No, I'll go ahead and say that the judiciary volunteered to research this subject matter and work with Mr. Dillon to resolve it so we all know and we have no lack of clarity on the issue.
Okay. Okay, Finance Committee. Mr. Spear.
No report, however, we need to set a meeting for Monday at 1 o'clock work for you.
I'll check, I should be Monday at 1.
If you can do that, we can get that one part done and get it back to the council.
1:30, you said?
1 or 1:30?
1.
1.
Any
That's
other?
it.
Okay. Health, Fire and Order, Mr. Schaefer.
The only thing I would have is I need to get a meeting together with my committee for the bag resolution and with the Sarah and Edwin for the cleanup day.
Okay. If you would, when you talk with them, just come on down, tell Stacy, and we'll put out the agenda. Or if you would have on the agenda, we'll post it and put up the date and that. Okay? Any other?
Nope.
Cemetery Parks Committee, Mr. Trollson.
No report.
Street and Alley Committee, Mr. Octor.
No report, but I do have to get a meeting scheduled for the 2 items from our last meeting, and I think you and JS have some other issues we need to discuss.
Okay, now just set it up and come on in and tell us when, and we'll post it. Thank you. Water and Sewer Committee, Mr. Cotton.
I'd like approval of my revenue report for the month of January.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, been moved and second. Discussion?
Question.
Questions been called for? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, any other, Bob?
Okay, no.
Okay. Okay, last item on the agenda, public comment on items of significant public interest not on the agenda and within the jurisdiction of the city.
I'd like to set a time limit. Do you have a suggestion, Council President? Time limit on how long a person can testify. I would limit be set to 5 minutes.
They're not really testifying, that's a hearing. So, want to limit them 5 minutes?
I would do that.
Okay. I've seen a hand over here, sir.
So
Come up to the
need a
front.
second on that, huh?
Fred Fletcher, South Dakota Street.
I just limit it to 5 minutes if you want.
That
Yeah.
don't make any difference, it ain't gonna take that long.
Okay.
I just wondered if it could be made possible for the public, the people of Dillon, not just myself, but
to have a copy of the financial report. I think it'd be interesting to watch and see how much we're taking in and how much is going out, and see if we're gaining any ground. I might have to save my pennies for more taxes.
Okay, yeah, if you want to just come on down at any, well, not any time, I mean, the city has to be open,
And
but come on down, we'll let you see it.
the one other thing with the finance committee, I suppose they have so much for each fund for like cutting trees and blacktopping and that kind of thing. Is that right?
There's a budget, yes.
And yeah, so much in the budget, and
Yes.
I'd like to see that too.
Okay, I can show that to you if you want to come down anytime. Anybody in the public's welcome. Again, though it's during city time. I mean, I could, if you catch me, I could even maybe show you some, but, what you want?
I was going to comment that the audited financials are in PDF format, they can be mailed out, emailed out.
He was saying that we have it in PDF on the audit, or the audit, correct, is what you said? The audit is in PDF, so if somebody wants to have that, just send us your email, or come on in, give us your email, and we can email it out to you also.
I thought it said the audit was already done.
The audit's done,
Okay.
we're just wanting to send you the results, what they
Oh,
said,
okay.
you know, is what it is. Okay, any others? Stuffy, want to come to the front?
Well, I can
Or-
stand here. It's, the fact of the matter is, I just
Your
wanted.
name and address, please.
Norman Duffy, 40 Fairway Drive. In regards to some of the things that we're talking about meetings-wise in different formats, isn't there a transparency law in Montana? Aren't people allowed to know what's going on behind closed doors? I mean, obviously, there does seem to be some problems with the mayor and the councilman regarding how the charter is set aside, and if there's a conflict in it, I think that it would be intelligent to make sure that the people of Dillon and surrounding area are aware if there's a conflict. So I think that maybe these meetings should be at least noted upon and put into the record so that public can see them, since obviously we're not going to be part of them.
When the judiciary has a meeting, it's posted 48 hours, just like anything, so you can keep an eye out for it and the public can watch our discussions.
And the second question is, I have is, according to our treasurer, obviously the city's in good shape then? There's no loss of money, we're in great shape, right, boss?
We continue to enjoy an implied AA- long-term debt rating.
Okay, so that obviously there's been no money disappearing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any others? One other one now then. Ma'am? Oh.
Get your camera.
State your name and address.
Brenda Womack, 126 North Montana Street. At the last meeting, we did have quite a bit of discussion over conflict of interest. And it seems to be like the oldest book trick in the book, where we're pointing at one person and we're not discussing anybody else. The conflict of interest was referred to as Mike Clacken helping his buddies in the paper that we're looking at here.
Butte paper?
In the Butte, Montana Standard, Mr. Trotzen said he's only helping his buddies. I have a question about that as far as Attorney Dillon said he wouldn't work on the Jones case because he was a witness and therefore a conflict of interest. But Mr. Cottom worked for the city and I believe was probably a witness or in one of these or both of these cases, but yet he doesn't appear to have a conflict of interest. I believe there's more than one of you, Mr. Trotzen, Mr. Cottom, Mr. Spear, some of you have worked in the past with Mr. Brennicky, with Mr. Warner, when they were city council members, when they were mayor, and yet there doesn't appear to be a conflict of interest on your part. I don't know why it should always be one-sided. Lynn, you stated that the defendants are the ones trying to keep these cases going. I've done a timeline, and I might run out of time, of when these cases started in 2009, when the judge ruled, when they asked for a favor, when the appeals, when it was finished, and when the orders were done. The order in Mr. Brennicky's case was done in July of 2012. That money has been sitting there. He paid his money in July of 2011. We haven't requested the money, and now Mr. Brennicky has gone about his life and his business somewhere else. And since July of 2012, there's been nothing, except for the city now has filed a motion for attorney's fees. The judge did not award them, and now the city is shut back. And you say that they are continuing it. Looks to me like the last shot is yours.
Brenda? I went to the courthouse today and I brought all the
Okay,
trial records.
I just want to know if I'm cutting into my time.
No, I just want to make a comment. File number 4, BV 13-133-638 is the last folder where the settlement was done. And I would feel that as the reporters for Tribune as well as you, that you go up and it's $10 for the 10 pages, items 1 through 58, and have it posted so everybody can see it, and then you can discuss it then.
I just think that if we're going to say who's keeping this going, we should know who fired the last
Well,
shot.
that's what I'm saying. They made a motion at last to move it, continue it until the 28th of February. And it, I mean, it's dragging that file
This was
up
done
to the
until
courthouse.
January.
I just was
Then-
at the courthouse today.
That's right. But the attorneys asked for an extension after you shot this last one. Now, if you had an attorney, you would want him to study it and file a motion also. Mr. Warner's timeline, of course, is much longer. And I guess as long as I'm scolding the council, or whatever you want to call it here, for continuing this when the public wants it over. They're tired of paying any money. They're tired of paying. Just because you get a judgment, just because, if the judge decides to give you attorney's fees, I personally have had a judgment. That doesn't mean I got anything but the bill from the lawyer. The person I sued,
If you go back to this case.
the person I
it'll tell you
sued did not pay. They filed bankruptcy. I have gotten nothing but the attorney bill. Just because you get a judgment doesn't mean you're going to get your money. George? I'm putting you on the spot. You and your attorney may not agree with me, but the community wants this ended. We're done. We don't want to pay. I don't know what your fight is, and we don't even care. We just want it done. Council, same thing. We want this to come to an end. We're tired of paying. I don't know if you want a community survey. I don't know if we want to call in. I don't know if you want it in the paper. I don't know what you want. But I think you ought to ask the public. They're just tired. And that's why everybody is pointing and slamming each other. You know what? It doesn't do anything. My phone does not ring. I don't get any work done all day of people calling and saying this town's an embarrassment. We're embarrassed of the council. We're embarrassed. We're tired of it. I'm just asking you to, you know what? Can we grow up, put our big drawers on, and let's go on with this?
And all I'm
I mean,
asking is
the
that
citizens-
you read the briefs in the case. I mean, I was amazed when I read it today.
I have a stack of them here underneath my chair.
Well, read through 1 through 58 in that case that I just
You
called
know
out.
what? We want it to go away, okay?
Well, it says
The
that-
citizens want the circus,
Okay.
the citizens want the circus to end, to go away.
Well, I agree
We
with
want
that.
it to go away.
Okay, thank you. Ma'am,
Talking about an embarrassment to the city.
well, the name and address,
Edith
please.
Fletcher, sorry. Edith Fletcher, 25 South Dakota. Talking about an embarrassment to the city. I don't quite understand. I don't know the ins and outs, I didn't see it from the beginning, but the next thing I knew, there was an article in the Butte, in the paper, and pictures, and I think that Mr. Trosten was involved. The next thing I saw on one of the Bozeman TV stations, him talking, and I'm wondering if he instigated all that. Does he care about the city or the embarrassment of the city, or is he trying to make us a laughing stock? As if he's gonna get anywhere with the cities of Butte and Bozeman, they don't too much care. But I just don't, unless there's something I don't know, I didn't see the beginnings of how that happened. And I just don't think he was speaking with the city at heart when he went on TV or in the paper. He was
Well,
trying to criticize.
on
And
my
then-
part, the TV, I remember some Fox station called and I told them no comment.
Yes, they said no comment from you or I can't think who the other person was. But he was glad to talk. There he was up on TV talking about the, and I don't think he cares about the city of Dillon. He's trying to embarrass us more.
And you met with
Thank you.
Standard.
Sir?
Tim Gore, 104 East Poindexter. I represent Southside RV Park. I just wanted to say, this meeting was going along real good tonight for a while. I just wanted to give you an old saying, if a lie is told enough times, it becomes a truth. I've been coming here 8 years, these city council meetings, and the same people that complained for 8 years are the ones behind me. Okay, I disagree with them. You don't represent everybody in the town, you guys. There's more of us.
No?
That's all I have to say.
Okay.
There's you.
Any other comments? Been moved. Second. Question's been called for. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?